What do you think about AI and why are artists
I'm gonna
so...
get cancelled. Hang on. I think a lot of the criticisms that exist for AI art, specifically on Twitter, where artists say it's a collage, is a fundamental misunderstanding of the technology. It's not really Okay, it is. It's not sampling in the same way that, say, a music artist would sample from a song, right? It's effectively learning from a bunch of different artists, and it learns to effectively reproduce it to a certain extent. It's sampling in the same sense that you would a human's sample by taking inspiration, right? Whether or not there are ethical issues with how we're sampling these things, whether or not we should allow artists to opt out of it, I think is a discussion that's beyond my pay grade. But I think the criticism that it's just a collage of other artists' art is just a misunderstanding of the technology itself, which technology is amazing, right? Like, sure, it has issues, right? But, you know, it allows people like me who have no artistic ability, right? Zero, to do crazy things, right? To like dream up and draw, or effectively visualize whatever it is I want to draw. Whether or not I think monetizing Stable Diffusion art should be allowed or is ethical is sort of still in a very gray area for me. And to be honest, we'll have to wait until, well, really, there's any real monetization efforts before we can talk about this topic, in my opinion, anyway. There you go. Oh, my hand just disappeared. Oh no, Twitter's already got me.
I think it's just gray area for like everyone actually, because it's still pretty brand new and a lot of people using it just for funsies, memes, you know. But yeah, I think it's mostly gray area.
So what is with the AI art tag on Twitter and like massive fucking galactic titties? Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
Can we get like some normal sized titties? Holy shit.
Yeah.
There's so many crazy images, yeah.
Yeah, I think you shared it, like there's two normal pair of tits, then suddenly that big pregnant woman with like a nipple thing on her bed. On her
Wait, no. Okay, you're mixing it up, right? No, that was that stupid meme where what was it? Someone had AI art draw a family of 5. I'm sure he'll put it here somewhere. But instead of it being a family of 5, it's like 3 people, and like the mother's pregnant, and a child is also pregnant because AI art does not understand, families. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah,
I saw some of it. They make like husband pregnant, everyone in the family member pregnant. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
but in a YouTube.
It's very creative how this AI... that's proof that the AI is creative. It made the man pregnant.
I think...
Not really.
Oh god, I'm gonna get cancelled on Twitter.
But yeah.
Why did you ask this question? I'm gonna get so cancelled by all the artists I follow on Twitter, right? Just deleted off the face of Elon. Save me. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the whole podcast is just a long bee... just censoring everything.
This entire podcast is just an attempt to get me cancelled, right? All the topics are just gonna be like this.
Probably.
Like, you're talking NFTs next.
I mean, you're not probably the only one that can. So, yeah.
Thankfully, I can.
But for me,
yeah.
Oh, okay. But for me, in a content creator kind of standpoint, what I researched about it is people start making videos out of it, like. For example, songs, and then they make AI generate an image on every lyric, like in a lyrical standpoint. So, I don't know, they start making those content all over on YouTube now. I don't know if it's a new thing, but I don't know if it's acceptable in like
demonetization. I mean, it's definitely new, It's only possible with Stable Diffusion because it can spit out 9,000 pieces of art in a fraction of a second. Nobody's going to slave away for the entirety through the Fire and the Flames with every line and draw an image of some sort of dragon spitting fire, right? That's impractical.
True, yeah.
So I mean, okay, then what do you think about... So basically the main concern is artists don't see that AI art is similar to that of a human. They're not arguing that it's efficient and that's why they hate it. They're arguing that it's just stealing and not getting, quote, inspired. And so what do you guys think about that? Let's go with the
So I think
Frosty.
it's tough, right? Like, so the efficiency standpoint, I think it's a sort of it's a no competition, right? It's a no commit, because obviously a computer is gonna be a lot better at spitting out maybe repetitive, maybe reductive works of art over and over again at different prompts than a person is going to be able to, right? So say maybe a nice piece of art takes you like 2 days to draw, a computer can draw that in like less than 15 minutes. I think that's, fundamentally AI art's going to be faster. From the quality standpoint, it really depends, right? I think even now, if you really look for it, a lot of AI art still has graphical artifacts that human artists won't produce, right? For example, AI art seems to have issues with hands. They don't really understand how many fingers humans have. And that's to do with the way Stable Diffusion works, right? My understanding is anyway. But in terms of the sampling issue, I don't really think I don't really think it's stealing in the same sense that if I took a photograph of your painting, or if I took a photograph of 10 different pieces of art and collaged them together into an actual collage, that would be stealing, right? But I don't think Stable Diffusion works in the same way. And so it's more taking inspiration than it is stealing, or it's whether or not there's still ethical issues with this, right? Because artists might not want to opt into it, not being able to opt into it or opt out of it, right? Because, a lot of these Stable Diffusion AIs are just let loose on the internet, and they're just given sort of randomly selected or, top 100 searches on DeviantArt or whatever as a training material. I don't remember what it's called, but the material that's used to train it. Yeah. And so I think there should be some system in place to allow artists to opt out of the training models. But I'm not sure if that's a practical thing because of the way it's distributed, right? My understanding is that at this point, if you have technical know-how, you can download a Stable Diffusion model and you can train it on like a GPU yourself using your own image sets and create a sort of Stable Diffusion art AI thing by yourself. And since people can do it by themselves, it's incredibly difficult to sort of police it, right, in any way. I think I think we should have some form of policing. People should be able to opt out or opt into it. It shouldn't be an opt out, it should be an opt in my opinion. Yeah. But I don't think it's practically possible. Or at the very least, it's not practically possible on the grand scale because of how fast and how wide it's spread without anyone noticing. Right? The AI art or the way the models are trained. There we go.
And before I get to your thoughts, but to finalize your thoughts, Frosty, and answer it with a question in terms of your opinion, is it theft or not? Or is it inspiration?
I mean, okay. Realistically, it's a nuanced answer, and I'm going to have to give you a long-ass answer, but that's not fun. So I'm just going to say, right, I don't think it's theft. I think there are some moral grayness to it, right? But I don't think it's theft. I think you should be able to opt into the service rather than have to opt out. But again, I don't think it's theft. Because if I look at if I as a human being look at a bunch of different pieces of artwork and I get inspired by it and I maybe learn a style that's very similar to certain artists' style, you wouldn't say that I'm stealing their artwork specifically, right? You might say that I'm copying their style, but that's not an accusation on the same degree as actual theft from a legal standpoint. So there we go.
All right. So what do you think Snow does?
It's so cancelled. Jesus Christ.
So cancelled. So is AI art, or like is the AI technology stealing from artists, or is it getting inspired by artists?
I'm kind of the same as Frosty, to be honest, but a little bit different to the fact that it kind of a reference to people start to Photoshop other people's faces, other people's pictures or whatever. So I just kind of relate to that. Where to the fact people make an art, like for example an anime character, and they just start, hey, you can have fun with it, just make something out of it, you know. And they just, viewers start to add like outfits or weapons or everything, you know, like a base avatar. If you're a chat, they can just add everything. I mean, that's my reference, but some artists, they don't like it, you know. They, you know, same as Frosty what just said just now, some people thought it's like a theft because it's like 10 an art piece just fused together, you know. But
okay, I just want to clarify that, right? It's very important, right? Mm-hmm. I paid for all the weird assets I have, all right? I don't know about them, but I paid real money for that shit, all right?
Yeah, that's another case. It's to people who are not using real money for it, or the avatar make it like free on some websites, you know. People start to downloading and make it like something new, make it like more scope, make it more meme-like. So it's not the content for them. But yeah, if it's free, then
so are you saying that Stable Diffusion AI, the way it samples and the way you train a model, is very similar to, in your opinion, like when people kit bash avatars together with a bunch of different assets from different places?
Yeah, this is me trying to make a reference on it, because, you know, a lot of people seems like, oh, that's negative that AI do that, but for me it's another content for other humans to make money out of it in like business standpoint, you know what I mean? But at the same time, the law is pretty gray and the policy pretty gray since it's pretty brand new. And, you know, in the end of the day, humans are the one who commands the AI to, hey, I'm gonna let you fuse 10 art piece and make it one. Humans started it, so
that is not how that works. I just want you to know that is not how. There's no fusion involved. I need you to know that, right? Because if we go into the narrative where there's some sort of fusion or collaging involved, you're gonna incentivize them to believe that. That's not how that works, okay? You're training an AI model, right? It's technically drawing it from scratch. It's just heavily trained based off of a certain image set. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it for.
Yeah, I mean.
But yeah, last standpoint, I don't think it's just an inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah. Generally speaking, that's how I see it as well. Yeah, I have the same stance. It's not theft, and I got a lot of in a heated discussion with a friend about this. And how I think of it, it's basically how I see it is like humans and AI in this context of this technology that we have. I see no difference in terms of what's being produced at the end. And how I see it is that AI is looking at, as Fancy mentioned, it's training itself to get inspired by a bunch of art. It's learning the art basically, like humans do it. They learn art, and if someone makes an argument that, well, humans when they grow up, they're not inspired by like, let's say a baby draws something, I don't know. And that's not an inspiration. In my case, yes, it's an inspiration. It's the DNA in the human that's getting inspired by all of human history. That's how it's being able to generate new stuff. And in that sense, that the only difference I see between AI and humans is that humans have been, trained like AI for millennia. While the AI is being trained for, I don't know, like 20 years, 50 years. Or like, I guess in this new tech, like maybe 1 or 2 years. So yeah, that's the only difference I see.